The problem is my mux has no idea what that signature is. And we actually have a bigger problem. Remember how all this is working. We currently have a go routine, which is managing our mux. So when some request comes over the wire, this go routine gets the request, looks at the routes that were defined. In our case, we only have one route defined, right, which is test. And it says, fine, we're going to launch another go routine to execute that code. Now, the code it's going to execute is that function right there, that function. So this go routine, right, the only thing it knows how to do right now is call status. What I want you to understand that this function, status, is the top layer, most outer layer function that exists, but from here to the mux. I want status to return an error. To return an error, who are you returning it to? You can't return it to the mux. The mux doesn't know anything about your errors. There's nobody to return. This is why the function handler doesn't have an error as a return, has no return. There's nobody to return it to. You're the outermost sort of function there is. You can write functions here all you want. The problem is, what we need to do is add a function here. How do we do that? If I could somehow add a function here, then I can have this function receive and process the error. The reality is this. Status can't be the most outer layer of this, what I'm going to call an onion of function calls. It has to become the most inner layer. What we need is a mechanic to be able to make status go in the center, not at the outer layer, and then find a way to wrap behavior around it to do things like logging, error handling, metrics, panics, authentication, authorization. We need this function here to become the center of everything, not the most outer layer of everything. And if we can do that, then we can have this sort of function signature and return errors and get that processed. This idea of these functions that wrap around our handler is that idea of middleware. Middleware is this concept of wrapping functionality around other things that exist. Now, some of these muxes have middleware support, but I want this very specific function signature. So what does that mean? It means that I probably need to write my own mux. Now, how many people want to write their own mux in this class? I don't want to write my own mux in this class. That's not what this class is about. We are not going to do that. So what we need to do is figure out how I can take an existing mux, like the HTTP mux, and then just customize it enough where I'm not rewriting it. I'm using it and then making it a little bit of my own. And we can do that in Go. That's what we're going to do next. So let's do the following. There's a lot here to make sure that all this code ever has to do is receive the input, validate it, call into the business layer, send a response, or return an error. This is all we want.
For the full course, visit courses.ardenlabs.com.